Hello. Today we're going to jump into the financial performance data on the Government of Canada website and learning best how to use it and implement it while you're creating your business plan. To get started, this is the initial site that you'll go to, and the first thing you do is create a report. Once you create a report, there's a number of different things that you can select. I'll kind of show you some things that I usually recommend. First things first, typically all of the businesses would be in the 30K to 5 million, so you can leave that unchecked. You can click Alberta. Typically for corporation, we leave it as all businesses. If you want, you could select which one you're doing, but typically we leave it as all. Here you can distribute by total revenue or profit margin. Again, some of this might be personal preference. Usually I go by total revenue. Value in percentage or thousands of dollars. Some of this is a personal preference. I'll show you percentage first and then I'll go back and show you thousands of dollars so you kind of understand the two differences. I also find I can draw different information out of either, so I'll show you some of that. And then the key thing that you're going to need to do is find what your industry is. And so if you don't know what your NAICS code is for the industry that you're in, you can try to browse for it. You can try to search for it. Typically, if you're not familiar with it, I might recommend Googling it and going to NAICS to try to fine-tune what it is. But there's kind of some high-level categories. For this example, we're going to do a child care services. So select that at a high level, and then we can drill down. So a full NAICS code has 6 numbers, and essentially what this is used for is to group different industries and help you find comparables. And so for child care services, you can see it's 6 digits. Essentially, the more digits that are in a NAICS code, the more specific it is. There's no subcategories under 6244. It's just the one industry, but some of them, there'll be more subcategories, which is why they have more numbers. So just a quick example, once you've selected the NAICS code, you can then click Create Report. And this is where things get started. So quick orientation on this. You can scroll down and you can see a bunch of different numbers or financial data from businesses from your industry. So the Government of Canada selects this from the tax returns of the businesses, and you can see a lot of different information here. So first thing you can see is the number of businesses that this report is pulling from, so just about 4,000. It splits them into 4 quartiles, and it kind of shows you in this the revenue range of them. So see the bottom 25% of these businesses, so close to 1,000 of them, are in the 30 to 48,000 revenue per year. Next one's 48 to 65, 65 to 233,000, and then 233 to 5 million. And so you can see that 75% of them are $250,000 or less. From there, you can then see the breakdown. So because we selected everything as a percentage of total revenue, it shows revenue as 100% and then a breakdown of the different expenses in those categories. So a couple things that I like to use to compare when I'm in percentages is comparing across the different quartiles. So you can see maybe as businesses get larger, how some of their expenses might change. That can provide some insights into as you expand what you might need to spend more or less on. And generally this is just a really good benchmarking tool to understand if you're doing forecasting and things like that, to get an idea of where the industry is. And I'd say one of the main uses of this is if you have an extreme outlier as you're doing your own projections or things like that. Maybe you're been in business for a few years, you can look back at your historical financials, see if you have any major outliers. And with the outliers, you'll be able to determine is this okay? is there something that I need to be looking at or addressing, or maybe I have a really good reason for why it's away from the averages. Maybe it gives me an advantage, but maybe it's something that you can also save some money on. So if we're looking down here, I'll just point out a couple things that I notice for wages and benefits. We see that it's fairly close together for the first 75% of businesses, and then it jumps quite a bit more in the top quartile. However, under purchases, materials, and subcontracts, the first three are much higher than the last one. So perhaps rather than having employees, they're doing more subcontracting. That might be something you can glean from. But so I like just looking at these and comparing some of the differences. On the right, percentage of businesses reporting. You can see which ones on their tax returns filled in information. So you can see, for example, here, 35% of the businesses filled out information about their cost of sales, and so on and so forth. So you can look through here. As you scroll down, usually people in their tax returns don't fill in a bunch of stuff on their balance sheet, or at least not enough of them that they will report on them. And then down at the bottom, you can see they split up profitable and non-profitable. So of the profitable businesses, you can kind of see in the revenue range how much net profit they're making, and for the not profitable ones, what's going on. So I find this to be a very useful tool. Let's say you create a report and you go in and say, oh, you know what, I want to change something. All you have to do is click this button, change criteria. You can go back to this page. And so, for example, let's switch to thousands of dollars. We create a report here. Go down. I know we had looked at wages and benefits. We can see now how it's in thousands of dollars. It looks much different. And again, subcontractors, how much they're spending. Another interesting thing is to look at is the net profit and loss. So you can see of the businesses in this quartile, they're making 20,000, and so on and so forth. And so there's lots of different things that, again, you can benchmark, look at, see if your numbers are close, and if something's really out of the normal, is there a good reason why? And if not, maybe that's something you need to look at further. So with that said, here was a quick overview of the financial performance data on the Government of Canada website. I hope it was helpful.